Dude, what a place to run out of battery. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pat Outdoors. Today we're going to be testing out Eahora's new Romeo Ultra 2, which is their dual motor e-bike that goes 50 miles per hour and supposedly has a range of over 200 miles. But does it really? This bike is so big that it came in 2 separate boxes. Let's go check out what's in this bigger box first. That's actually pretty impressive packaging. The foam pretty much has the bike fully enclosed. That explains why this box is so heavy. It has the 60 volt, 80 amp hour battery in it, along with the front wheel. So this bike came with a 7 amp charger, max output 67.2 volts. I'm just gonna hook it up right now because my buddy Justin just texted me and said that we're going on a 120-mile ride from Virginia to Maryland to West Virginia tomorrow. I want to make sure that this thing is fully charged before we go on this super long journey. So besides the battery and the charger, here's everything else that came in the package. This is the headlight, it's LED, toolkit, set of pedals, 21mm wrench. This is for the axle nuts for the front wheel. Rear shock doesn't come mounted on, so we're gonna throw that on in a minute. This is by Right Flosa. It's got rebound adjustment, fast and slow. We're gonna probably ride it in the middle setting first. Front fender, and of course the front wheel. I believe this bike has geared hub motors, so it should put out quite a decent amount of torque. And then look at how big this rotor is. This is a 240mm, same size front and rear, and it's 3mm thick. It's pretty convenient to have a motorcycle jack whenever assembling something this big because I can just raise and lower it according to what I need, especially if I'm putting a rear shock on. This is the connector for the front hub motor. Can't really mess this up because it only goes on one way. Just match the arrows and then screw the connectors into each other. Personally, just not a big fan of the look of reflectors, so I'm just gonna be removing these. I'm really impressed with the tread pattern on these Black Cat tires. I'm used to fat tire bikes having much smoother tread on it, but these are pretty chunky, almost like dual sport tires, so I'm expecting it to have decent traction off-road. The sidewall says to inflate between 5 and 30 PSI. I'm gonna start off with inflating them at 20 PSI, and I may or may not reduce the tire pressure as we go, depending on how comfortable it is. If you're interested in checking out this jack, I got it from Amazon. I'll have a link in the description. Next, we're gonna be mounting the taillight on the back side of the frame. I noticed that there's quite a bit of extra wiring, and I believe they did that on purpose because there's an optional cargo rack for this bike that you can bolt onto the subframe. Goes out like an extra 1.5 feet, so you can carry stuff with you on long rides, which I actually ordered, but they happen to be out of stock right now. Hopefully I get that soon. And then for the extra harness, I'm just gonna zip tie it, and then I'm gonna tuck it under the seat. There's a little pocket over here between the seat and the subframe, so it just sits right here nice and protected from the elements. I was just about to mount the handlebar on, but then I noticed that the top triple tree clamp is not fully seated against the headset bearing. So you can see there's quite a bit of a gap here. I can see that potentially causing some noises whenever I hit some bumps, because that could cause some play. So what I'm going to do here is loosen the 4 Allen bolts for the bottom triple tree clamp, and then try to sandwich the top and the bottom one together to bring this gap a little bit tighter. And then we're going to mount the handlebar and stem on and crank everything down with the top cap to put some decent tension on it. Then I'll torque everything back down. I'm actually going to use this top cap to add a little bit of tension to the triple tree. Just going to snug it real quick, and then I'll loosen the bottom clamp bolts. Hear that movement? That's what we're trying to get rid of. So you can see the gap from the top triple tree clamp and the bearing are fully closed. So there's no more play on the headset. All right, moment of truth. This bike came with 2 keys. Oh, you gotta slam it in. All right, so I guess you don't need the key to turn it on. You just press the power button here, and then press the power button on the handlebar. So it doesn't go immediately. I heard you have to hold the brakes down for like 2 seconds. I'm gonna turn that all the way up to top power. Okay, so it seems to be capped at 28 miles per hour from the factory. So we're definitely gonna make some changes on the tune. To access the advanced setting menu, you hold down the plus and minus button for 3 seconds. To scroll up and down the menu, you use the plus and minus button, and then you use I to select. So you can see speed limit is currently capped at 28 miles per hour. I'm gonna go ahead and change that to whatever the top setting is. In this case, it is 62 miles per hour. Current limit, I'm gonna max that out. Oh, I guess it's already set at max. So we'll try these settings out for now. There we go. Now we can take this thing out. So I found this to be the easiest way to haul this bike around, since it weighs 205 pounds. That's 8 pounds away from my KTM 2-stroke dirt bike. So I'm using a dirt bike rack from Black Widow and a set of Rhino straps. It's actually the most stable way to do this. There's no way to haul this thing around with a regular bike rack. Well, my only problem with the seat is it's not adjustable height.
Okay.
So, how tall are you?
5'8", 5'9".
Right, and I'm 5'8", and I'm tippy-toeing on this thing. So I'm just gonna take it on a quick shakedown lap just to make sure it's not making any odd noises before we go on this long-ass journey. Okay, so when you first turn it on, it starts at 0 assist. It's gonna jump straight into 5, and the throttle's not gonna work until you hold the brakes down for 2 seconds. And then that activates it. Oh, it's pretty cool. It shows how much wattage you're pulling. So right now I only have the rear motor activated, and it picks up pretty decent speed. Brakes definitely need to be bedded in though. Okay, so the headlight button, quickly clicking it, it switches from rear motor to front motor and dual motor. Oh yeah, it's definitely got a decent amount of torque. Wow, we already hit 37 miles per hour just going around the lot. So far so good though, no odd noises though. The suspension feels really stiff. This is how it comes right out of the box. This is an air fork though, so I might take a little bit of air out to make it a little bit more appropriate for my rider weight, which is 185 pounds. Good morning.
My bad, dude.
What's up, bro? Hey, do you have an air shock or air pump? Oh yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see the gauge. Yeah, so at the bottom left side of the fork, it does have suggestions for air pressure. It says 170 pounds should be filled between 90 and 100 PSI, and 200 pounds should be filled between 100 and 130. This bike has 4,800 watt hours, is 60 volt, 80 amp hour. Your Nami has what?
It's 72 volt, 40 amp hour.
And then what is this?
This is a dual motor bike. The rear one's geared. It goes through an internal gear hub. And the motors are about 3,000 watts each. It's a 72 volt system.
2,500 watt hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have similar amount of battery.
You have just about double what we have.
All right. We're starting off with 1 mile on the odometer, 100% charge. We'll see what this thing can do. Pedaling function's not bad though. The cranks definitely feel a little bit unnatural, like they're too long. And I'm pretty short, so I can imagine this being even more uncomfortable for a taller rider. All right, let's just get the top speed test out of the way. While we got a full charge, let's just see what this thing can do. All right, so we hit 49 miles per hour. Alright guys, it does look like the top speed is 49 miles per hour. I've seen some people mess with the settings even further and get like 51, 52. So we'll continue to test that out later on, but I am going to try to conserve the battery a little bit, at least for now. I find the safest setting for riding on the street long distances to be whatever the top speed is and just single motor to conserve energy and not use too much wattage and just be easy on the throttle. Alright, since we're going to be on this trail for a little while, we might as well take this time to talk about all the features on this bike. It's powered by two 2,500 watt geared hub motors, two separate controllers, all the power supplied by a 60 volt 80 amp hour lithium battery pack, which is right in the center of the frame. That's the largest battery pack I've ever heard of on an e-bike. Eahora claims that this bike has a range of up to 235 miles, which is insane. But it is a range. It says 70 to 235, 70 without pedal assist, and I have not really been pedaling today, so I'm really not sure what kind of range we're going to get today. That's why I'm trying to cruise at a pretty easy pace and not be too aggressive on the throttle. I have a hard time believing a lot of the manufacturers' claimed range on e-bikes, so I tend to cut them in half. But even if I cut that in half, that will put us at like what, 117 miles, which is less than what our journey is today. We're shooting for a little over 120 miles. We're going from Manassas, Virginia to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia and back. So I am excited to see how accurate the range claim is on this bike. It's got a nice LCD display over here. It's very bright. I can see everything during the daytime. It's got an LED headlamp up front that puts out 2,500 lumens. It's got an LED tail lamp on the back. The website says that it's got built-in turn signals, but I don't see any turn signal switches here. And I didn't see them on the light itself either. So that could have just been a typo. One thing that's different on this e-bike in comparison to some similar ones that I've received in the past is the throttle. It's got a full twist throttle, which is closer to what I'm used to. I usually ride like a Talaria or electric pit bikes like my RTR, which all have a full twist throttle. I'm personally just not a fan of thumb throttles. It just doesn't feel that natural to me. This thing's got pretty decent brakes on there. It's got 240 millimeter rotors front and rear. They're 3 millimeters thick, so they're pretty big for an electric bicycle. It's got hydraulic brakes. You can see the reservoirs here on both sides. It's interesting that they made that clear, but at least you know if you're running low on brake fluid, I guess. Got the horn button over here. It's just loud enough to get people's attention on the trail, which is good because it's not very threatening. As far as drivetrain, it's got the Shimano Tourney derailleur and a 7-speed shifter over here. One thing I'm not a big fan of is I catch myself ghost pedaling. Whenever I'm reaching speeds over 28 miles per hour, it starts to ghost pedal a little bit. But then again, that is the legal limit of a Class 3 e-bike. It's supposed to be 28 miles per hour. So that does seem appropriate for a legal bike. But in our purposes, I personally like to cruise around between 30 and 40 miles per hour. So I'm probably going to swap out the front sprocket to reduce the amount of ghost pedaling going on. The brakes were a little bit underwhelming at first, but I think that's just because they weren't fully bedded in yet, but they're actually starting to improve as we ride more and more. Suspension's pretty comfortable though, once I let a little bit of air out from the fork. I didn't make any adjustments on the right Flosa shock though. I left that at the middle rebound setting. It seems to be pretty good. Another setting that I'm considering messing with is the pedal assist. I think it is a little bit aggressive if you're trying to conserve battery. So you can see I'm barely pedaling right now and it's already sucking up over 2,000 watts of power on the rear wheel. Compared to if I go just really easy on the throttle like this, I can keep the power output just under 1,000 watts to conserve a little bit more battery. Yo, is that an RTR?
Yeah. You look familiar. You have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's Pat Outdoors.
Oh shit, I know you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of these as well.
I watched your videos on it. It's like got the seat cover.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan? Good to see you, man.
It's so cool. See ya.
All right, have a good weekend.
Have a good day.
We're actually changing the route a little bit today. We were gonna go to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, but now we're just gonna roam around northwestern side of Virginia. The total distance today is still gonna be around 120 miles or so. Wow, some people are crazy. But as far as battery usage, it's actually been super efficient. We're only down to 85% so far, and we've gone over 38 miles on this charge. Granted, we haven't been doing a lot of stop and go traffic since we've been on that WNOD trail, so no traffic lights. So just keeping a consistent speed around 15 to 17 miles an hour has sucked up very little battery. 38 miles.
38 miles in.
Back on the road. Stock suspension does pretty good off-road though. Stock tires have pretty decent traction. Yo, off-road performance is not bad. We're actually trying to go to that building on the very top of the hill over there, and it's such a long and steep hill climb, so I'm expecting this to suck up quite a bit of the battery. All right, 59 miles on my odometer, 75 miles. Where are you at?
I'm at 50%.
Are we racing up this hill?
Yeah.
Okay.
2, 1.
He is cornering pretty hard over there. Come on. I don't know if you guys can tell, this is like a really super steep hill climb. Hopefully my Relive app picks up on the elevation. All right, Justin's pretty much gone at this point, but that Nami just puts out a stupid amount of power, like 12,000 watts. But either way, for a 205-pound bike, completely unmodified, during a range test, it's still pretty impressive. I don't want to hear it. I still think it did pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, it is super steep. That definitely put the brake pads to work. You know, I didn't hear brake noise earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if that may have warped the rotor. If you're enjoying this in-depth review of the Romeo Ultra 2, make sure you hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of my electric bike reviews and scooter reviews, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your bell notification on. It might be a little too early to say, but so far I am super impressed with the range on this bike. We have not even gotten down to 70% yet, and we've already done 64.4 miles today. So I wouldn't even be shocked if this thing can actually do 200 miles on one charge if you're just cruising in a slow, steady pace. But obviously, if I'm riding at 40 miles per hour with both motors on, riding really aggressively, I can probably drain the battery in less than 100 miles. Let me know what you guys think though. Should I go for a very extreme range test? Like state to state, 200 miles maybe? We got 36 miles to go.
36?
Yeah.
Did you break 50% yet? Probably not, right?
I'm at 70.
Yeah, 70.
Are you upset?
MFer, man.
It's not my fault. Today's ride was your idea, bro.
That's pretty impressive.
You know, overall, I've been very impressed with this bike and how it's been holding up. Though I know for a fact I let a little bit too much air out of the fork because I bottomed out the fork a couple times and the headlight ends up pointing upward. And also my rotor up front, not too big of a deal, but it's slightly warped after that long downhill I was braking. They're not exactly motorcycle brakes, so I can't really expect too much of it. And it's also stopping a 205-pound bike for like 2 miles downhill straight. I don't know if you noticed, but the headlight randomly turned on and turned off back there. I believe this actually has a light sensor somewhere on the display. So if you go into a tunnel, it automatically just turns your headlights on. And then once you're back in the light, it turns it off. So pretty cool safety feature. Now, if you are interested in getting more information on Eahora's Romeo Ultra 2, I'll have a link to the listing in the description, along with any discount codes I may have for this, so you can save yourself a couple bucks. If you're enjoying this video so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my scooter reviews and electric bike reviews, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your bell notification on. Yo, look at all those deer. That is so cool. Nothing sketchier than being deep in the woods, in the dark, on a rough gravel road that you've never been on. I'm really hoping Twan and Justin have enough charge to get home, because it is getting dark. I spoke too soon.
This battery is kind of soft. I need to redo the battery. This battery has way too much voltage sag. Like, you can't use the whole thing unless you're just running flat, you know? You gotta figure out what to attach it to.
Yeah, why don't you latch onto right here? All right, we're towing the bike.
Yeah, just do it gently and slowly. Okay.
Dude, this thing's a beast. It's like a F350 of electric bikes. Dude, what a place to run out of battery.
Just imagine if you're bike packing on your own right now.
All right.
We're literally like in the middle of the woods right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like up, we were going up a massive hill.
Well, damn, guys, I thought I was going to do an extreme range test today, but it turns out we are going to have to reschedule the extended range test.
All right. See you soon. Love you.
Love it, you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're being rescued now.
I mean, just if you're not cornering hard or...
This is how the night ends.